I'm Holly.
I'm Charisse.
And welcome today to our Ask Mom series video on how to handle your period at school.
Woo! Because guess what? How many months are we at school? September, October, November, December, January, February, March,
A little faster.
April, May. Holy crap. You're going to have your period 10 times.
Isn't that exciting?
10 times in a school year. That's fun.
You're going to have
That's a lot of fun.
You're going to have a lot of practice is the way to look at it.
We get a lot of emails on how do you handle your cycle when you're at school.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of teachers who don't just let you out whenever you need to go use the restroom. And that can be a real problem if all of a sudden you start in the middle of class and you haven't, prepared for that. I don't know. So that can be a real problem if somehow you start in the middle of class or you have a very heavy cycle for a couple of days and you really need to get to a restroom.
Right. And so you need to know how to be able to handle that.
How do you handle it? Particularly if you have a male teacher and you don't want to share with him that you're on your cycle. That happens. But of course I can think of many female teachers I wouldn't have wanted to share that with as well.
Can I just say that, to me, like the whole thing about handling it at school is being prepared.
Mm-hmm.
That's the number one thing, being prepared. Knowing when you're going to get your period, close to it, because like when you're just starting, it can be very irregular. So being prepared is huge. Because
bigger than you can imagine, bigger than life. It's so huge.
Well, yeah, because the thing, two things about having it in
I'd
school.
like to hear three.
Okay, I might come up with three, but right now my little brain can come up with two. One, be prepared, and two, know that there's a smarter girl than you that is prepared. So if you're not prepared, she's got the dole.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Know somebody else who brings the stuff.
Well, people bring the stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's
got the stuff. And if they don't, bring the stuff.
Out of 10 girls, I guarantee at least 7 or 8 are going to have this stuff.
We all used to have to ask our friends.
Yeah.
From time to time, you'd be like, oh no, I never restocked the supply, okay? So in your backpack, in either a discreet pocket or pack a little side bag that you can grab out of your backpack to take to the bathroom or whatever, like a little black bag or something. Not a clear bag. You don't need everybody seeing it. Just, something solid, a little change purse kind of bit bigger. And put in there some tampons if you use them or you think you might want to, some pads, and a change of underwear. And so then if you have an accident, throw the underwear out. Don't try to keep those suckers. Throw them out.
Totally.
Put on the clean ones. Put on your pad, your tampon, whatever it is. You're ready to go.
And keep track somehow of your cycle. Mm-hmm. Whether it's in your little iPhone. I'm sure there's a period app. Put it in there. It's going to tell you.
Right. Or in your little memo section of your phone or whatever, just put the date you started your last one.
I know this sounds weird, but I will mark it on my calendar with just a fine little red dot that I know about. And when I start getting angry 3 days prior, I look at the calendar and go, oh,
that's why.
That's why.
Yeah.
And I inform my family, Mommy's going to be a little testy the next couple days. Deal with it.
And since you're at school and you have less control over when you can use the bathroom and when you can't, when you see that you're getting close to that, where that little red dot was the month before, then just start wearing a panty liner. I mean, panty liners are like micro thin. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're wearing a big pad. And then that will hold you at least for 15 or 20 minutes. It's not like you're going to flood down your leg or anything. So, and if you got to hold it for 15, 20 minutes to make it to the bathroom, at least you got a panty liner in there and you'll be okay until you get there.
That's true.
And those things come in 200 packs for $4. So it's not exactly like you're wasting anything. It's just fine.
And they're nicely folded up in plastic, so they're not going to get,
They're sterile. They're small. Sterile.
That's exactly what I was trying to say.
You can carry lots of them in the bag. Mm-hmm. And so then you're in class, and your teacher's in the middle of a lecture, and you feel yourself starting, and you think, oh my gosh, I need to get to a bathroom right now. What are you going to do?
Because just so you know, at times you do feel yourself starting.
Oh, yeah.
Just so you know that. You may not. But there are times when you're like, oh, I just started.
Right.
So
when that happens, you need to be able to communicate that to get out of the room. And some teachers are really great, and they're just clearly she wouldn't ask in the middle of a lecture if she didn't really have to use the bathroom. But if they're not great about it, then you need to prepare with something that you feel like you can do. So one idea is raise your hand and say you want to go see the school nurse. Say, I'm not feeling well, I need to go use the school nurse.
And even do like this.
You could.
So maybe they think you're going to puke.
that will get you out of the class really fast. Whatever you need to say to get out, I'm not saying you need to lie, but the fact is you start your period, you often don't feel really great. So first, try the truth. I really need to use the restroom. If they say no, then go write a note. Write something down. Say, I have a personal emergency. I need to use the restroom right away, and hand it to your teacher. Second, they sit down at their desk.
My daughter has asked this too, and she hasn't even started yet. But she says, "Well, what if they don't let you leave?" Because we openly talk about it prior to her. She's going to know everything. So we talk about it, and so well, what if they don't let you go? I said, you know what? You have my permission. You have my permission to leave the classroom. That teacher cannot hold you back. That teacher cannot hold you back and block you from the door. You ask politely.
I would say the same thing.
You
would
ask
be okay.
kindly. And then if they say no and you feel that you need to go beyond a reasonable doubt, you grab your bag and you just head out. And if they're like, where are you going? I'm going to see the nurse. And that's it. You know, and if they follow you, whatever, if you need to go to the bathroom, at that point you can say.
Right. And honestly, the worst case scenario is what you get a detention. They say you need to go to the office.
Yes.
And you go to the office and you tell them, I wasn't allowed to leave the room. I needed to leave the room. I started my cycle. Granted, you will not be in detention.
Yeah, and
they're going to say, okay,
I would much rather serve a detention.
Right.
I would much rather serve a detention than have the humiliation of
that. I like to believe that people will be gracious about something like that, particularly if it's a girl. Obviously, a boy asks in the middle, you can wait, okay? Or, whatever. Right. But a girl, obviously, most teachers have got to be clued in enough to know that if you're 13 or older and you say, I need to go to the bathroom right now for personal reasons, you're going to be allowed to go. But just so you know, if you're watching this and this is, like you haven't even had your period yet and you're thinking, oh my gosh, what's going to happen?
Right.
It does not flood down your leg, particularly in the first, for the first year probably of you having your cycle. It's going to be, spotty. You're going to get a clue. It's not going to damage your clothing. It probably won't even go through your jeans. I mean, it would take a long time to seep through. So don't be overly concerned if you just think something's going on. Don't feel like, oh, I got to run to the bathroom or I'm going to be humiliated in front of everyone.
And I have to say that all through grammar school and high school, ever since I had my cycle, I never had an accident in school. It feels like that. Yeah. It feels that it's going to be like that, and it feels like it's sometimes like it's all over the place, and then your mind starts,
going crazy,
and then you get to the bathroom and you're like, phew. So we're just kind of preparing you for things that could happen, but it's not often like that. So just so you know.
Right, exactly. And again, like we mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you're just prepared and you have what you need, then whenever it is you manage to make it to the bathroom, you'll be able to remedy the situation. So, but just try trusting the adults at your school a little bit more and just say, I really need to use the bathroom. This is really serious, and hopefully they'll be great about letting you out. And if they're not, that might be a good thing to communicate to your parent and say, this is really hard because at school they don't let us out to go to the bathroom, and I'm worried about it, because maybe if parents say something to the school will be a little bit more reasonable about that kind of thing. Obviously, it's happening a lot because I get a lot of emails about that.
Well, let me just also add this to it, since we were talking about accidents. I remember actually in college that I was at the end of my cycle. And quite often at the end of your cycle, when you're sleeping, you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, my period's over. I have nothing. Well, you've been reclined for all those hours, and so gravity has not allowed it to filter down, so to speak. And so I went out that day going, oh, great, I'm totally done. Not being prepared, numbskull at all, and having an accident and being humiliated to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was obvious to other people too. But it was because I wasn't prepared, and I didn't, if I would have just had a stupid little panty liner in, and had, I think I did have some things in my purse that I had to use, but by then it was a little late. I know, we can laugh about it now, but it's like,
it's embarrassing.
It's embarrassing, but it's that stupid thing where you're like, oh, I'm done.
Right.
I'm done. You're thinking, I'm done. I'm at the end. I'm done. I woke up this morning. Great. Nothing. Well, give it a couple hours.
Right. And then you got something. Yeah.
So anyways, if you got to wear a panty liner for a couple days,
just wear it.
Before or after, oh my gosh. It'll save you so much.
It's really true.
It's really nothing compared to, And by the middle of the day, if it's nothing, then, if you're towards the end and it's nothing, then you know it's over.
Right. And if you're a girl that has extremely heavy periods, by which I mean like you have to change a tampon every hour or a pad every hour because it's saturated, usually if it's like that, it's only going to be like that for a couple of days.
Right.
But if it's that way and you will absolutely not make it through class without needing to go use a restroom, then that would be a really good thing for your parent to communicate to the school.
Right.
Because they can make a simple phone call to the school nurse and say, my daughter has a very, very heavy cycle. Literally every hour and a half, she has to be able to change a pad. I need this to be communicated to her teachers that she needs permission to leave to use the restroom for medical reasons whenever she needs to use a restroom. And so then that can just be sent memo form to every one of your teachers, not why, the nurse doesn't need to tell them why, but that you have a medical reason why you need to be able to use the restroom anytime you're asked.
Right.
Or you ask. And it's just worth it to do that, to just save you the worry of having to manage those days. And then also, if you're that heavy, you might want to see your doctor. I think that probably, hopefully answers your questions about how to handle your period at school. And again, don't feel alone. I know you might be in a group of friends who don't talk about their periods, because there are groups that are just as vocal as there are groups that don't say a single thing to each other about when they start or when they have their periods or whatever. But you are not alone. When you look around, a majority of the girls around you are all having it right then, or they're having it next week. So feel free to ask for the help that you need. Go to the school nurse if you need to. She's going to keep things private. Find a friend that, even if it's just one friend you can confide in when you're at school and say, I'll have your back if you've got mine, and if you've always got supplies and I've always got supplies, we'll know we'll always be covered between the two of us. Or sometimes teachers keep a stash. I mean, I know most of the teachers at the elementary school just across the street from our house, most of them in 5th and 6th grade all keep pads in a drawer, so that if a little girl comes and asks them, they can get what they need. And if they don't have them in their drawer, they have them in the faculty bathroom so that they can offer them to someone if they ask. So there are people out there who will help you, and you need to find who they are, be it a friend or an adult at home or a teacher or someone at school. Thanks for tuning in today, and we hope this information helps you. I'm Holly.
I'm Charisse.
And feel free to use us on your Facebook or Twitter, our YouTube videos to your friends, so that if other people might need help, they'll know where to go to get it.
And if you want to email us any questions, please do. hollycharisse@yahoo.com.
Signing off. Word.